Well, and some interesting points come up too, because like as you said, you know, you're both writing fiction, but it's based so much on your own personal family stories. And so I'm curious, and I know Heige, you had mentioned being upset when, you know, a reviewer had thought that that character was, you know, based on your father. And so I'm curious where that line falls in each of your books. You know, what characters were there characters that were based on real people? Where's that balance between what's fiction and what is not?
Well, when I first started writing this book, I had thought that I was going to be writing like my mom's life story. And so it was going to be like almost, I mean, it was going to be fiction, but like based on a true story. And that went wrong really fast. It was not a good idea. So I had to back off. And then I started even worse. I started combining fiction and nonfiction and sort of creating a small explosions almost every day. And I thought, no, this is really not going to work. So I had to basically set the whole thing aside and start over again and make it almost completely fictional. But the one part that is directly inspired by what happened to my mom is when the Soviets actually arrived in northern Germany and came onto the farm and threw this family out of their house and stuff. That's almost exactly what happened to my mom. And she because she told me the story quite a few times, and she had a lot of details and interesting things that you would not have found in history books. And so it was very valuable for me to hear her story. And then I think also probably valuable for her to tell it, and you know, the cathartic, I think, probably, and as you've said already, a healing process for it. So but that's probably the only part that is really sort of directly from my mom's life. Although a couple of the characters, I used some of the things that my mom told me about one of her sisters and about her mom, and sort of used that as a launch, and then created fictional characters from that. So, because my mom actually has a sister named Hilda. And she used to tell me all sorts of stories about her. And I was so I never got to meet her, unfortunately, but I was so fascinated by her that I thought, oh, she has to be in this book. And so, but I turned her into my own version of Hilda. So
she was one of my favorite characters. So.
I mean, mine too. Yeah, I liked her.
How about you, Heige?
Well, for me, I did include stories of some parts of my mom's story, but what I did was I used aspects of you know, my growing up as a child with the games that my sisters and I would play, like when the boys are playing Robin Hood, shooting arrows. That was really something that we would do as kids, the six of us. We would cut down tree branches and take the elastics out from our underpants and tie them to make bows and arrows. And then we would all run around the yard shooting each other with the arrows. And, you know, Mom would always be wondering where our elastics were from our underpants, because they'd always fall off because we didn't have them in there. So some of the my childhood memories with my sisters I put in there. And one of the stories that my mom told was when she had finished her apprenticeship, I think she was about 15 or 16, of becoming a chef in Germany. She had bought herself a pair of new shoes, and she was allowed to go on holidays with her friend Tutoringer. And she was swinging on a beam outside, and when she let go, she actually fell into a septic tank. Oh. And as she was falling, she was sinking into the vat of poo, and then she was screaming for her brother to come and rescue her. So he went and pulled her out, and then Mom had obviously lost her brand new shoes. And so I thought, well, that story has to go with Wolfie, because it was just so great, and it was fun. And then another one was in the novel I have two twins, the Yuk twins, and that was a game my sister and I would always play as young children. We would pretend we were escaped convicts, and mom and dad were the jail keepers, and we would sneak into the house and steal potatoes and matches and dig a hole and cook the potatoes and sneak around. And so when I was writing the novel, I thought all of a sudden that just came back, and I thought, oh my God, I have to put these Yup twins in there. And both me and my sister, we had the same name, and so we were both called Yup, and it was just really fun to have those there. And all my sisters remember me and my younger sister playing that game, and so they just thought, oh my God, it's so nice to actually meet the Yup twins, you know, because like that was really quite great. But yeah, so there's aspects of the stories that are from my childhood and stories from my mom that I really enjoyed weaving through, because that's sort of a nice way of keeping family. It's almost like family mementos, and now they're forever in the novel, set in the novel, which is really fun to do that. And the funny thing was, my mom, when I first wrote the novel, she thought the whole thing was about her, and I guess she had tried reading a bit of it, and she goes, well, I don't see my name anywhere. How come I'm not in here? and same thing with my oldest sister. She thought the whole time, it's so cool that you wrote our family story. And it was like, it's not. So that was really good. Yeah.
I should have known when reading that scene that was too good to be made up. I mean, I would remember just reading that scene when they were drowning in the poop. There's no coming up with that, right? It's like
yeah.